What do you think of what Magic said there? Maybe LeBron's got skills that no other player has ever had, but Michael remains the greatest ever.
Was you listening, Jay Williams? Did you hear the legend, Irvin Magic Johnson, preaching that gospel? So much so I wrote down a couple of buzzwords that he used, because I didn't know I was going to be on here with you, my brother. A couple of buzzwords. Michael and LeBron, just different styles. LeBron, one of the greatest of all time, Greeny. Best all-around player. You didn't hear him say best. You didn't hear him say Mount Rushmore. Now he has a chance to get there. Set up in LA looks pretty good. Number 1 seed in the West, playing at an MVP level. I believe he has a chance to win a couple of more in Los Angeles. If that happens, we can revisit this conversation. Your thoughts?
My thoughts, 6-0 in the finals. I hear what Magic and Shaq said. It's just interesting to me. So the greatest all-around basketball player, but maybe not the greatest winner, but skill set, the greatest all-around basketball player. They pretty much just said that. It's fascinating to me. So, and I hear everybody talk about the 90s version of basketball. That's like us saying, are the players today not as good as the players in the 90s? Are the players today not the most elite athletes in the world? Like, are we saying that Giannis or LeBron or James Harden or Russell Westbrook wouldn't put in work in the 90s? Like, let's have a full, comprehensive conversation about this. If we're going to keep knocking these players and saying that these players today are soft, go ahead. I got you. I'm with you.
You ready for this? I 1,000% agree with you. Great players today would be great at any period of time. What I try to do when I do cross-era comparisons, since these guys can't play against each other, and again, I agree with you, KD will get buckets in any era versus anybody. But what you have to try to do is, how great were they versus their peers, and how dominant were they when they were at their apex? With Russell, we know that. With Magic, we know that. With Kareem, we know that. With Jordan, we know that. So that's the comparison. It's not that these aren't the best shooting players with the most range. They are more skilled than I've ever seen. And it's going to continue to be that way.
All right, I want to leave this here, guys, because I want to get, there's something really important I want to get to. Jay Will, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to get to the Horace Grant stuff.
I got you.
Because I had to cut you off in the first hour from doing the Horace Grant stuff. So we never get to the stuff that really matters. So here's what okay, so yesterday Horace Grant goes on the radio in Chicago on ESPN 1000. And a lot of people took notice of the fact that the Last Dance, brilliant documentary and extraordinarily entertaining as it was very Michael-centric, and that a lot of people came out of it not looking so good. First and foremost among them, Scottie Pippen. What did you think of the way Scottie Pippen was portrayed in Last Dance, and big picture, what do you think it meant?
It gives me a lot of pause, and it allows me to have a lot of food for thought, Greeny, on the greatest Robin of all time, a guy that's on the poster behind me for top 50 greatest players of all time 10 years ago, which I got. The fact that, on a documentary, the greatest documentary, sports documentary I think I've ever seen, that had a lot of the Jordan brand pull. Let's remember, the people involved in this, ESPN, Disney, Netflix, and brand Jordan, right? So Jordan had a lot of say in this, and it's in, Jay Rose brought up this point, we talked about this for multiple days in a row. You don't see Scottie Pippen going around promoting this. You don't see Scottie Pippen going on podcasts or radio interviews talking about how great his time was there. And like that's interesting to me that Michael Jordan would portray his ride or die guy in his Hall of Fame speech that said he couldn't do anything without Scottie, that he would allow that. That's like, look, I didn't win an NBA championship, but I won a college championship. And I've written a book. You didn't hear me paint a picture of Shane Battier or Mike Dunleavy or Chris Duhon in a negative light. Like, if I'm going to talk about me and my experiences, then I can do that for me. But as it pertains to some of my teammates, I wouldn't project that on them. I wouldn't do that to them. So I think that's just very interesting and revealing about the relationship that Michael has with Pip. And I feel bad for Pip. I feel horrible for Pip because he should have been portrayed differently. He deserves all the credit and praise that should come his way for being a champion with Michael Jordan. And by the way, he's 6-0 in the finals too.
What do you think, Jalen?
Well, a few things, and Jay is exactly right, Greeny. What ends up happening, anytime there's a quality book or a quality documentary that talks about things that happened in the past, when they get acknowledged, there are going to be some characters involved that get portrayed now based on what they did then and judged on it. And that's what you see is happening with Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant. They're living their normal lives, and then all of a sudden the documentary happened, and now they, through their families, through their kids, through their current lifestyle, have to relive poor decisions that they made 25 years ago. And I'm actually glad you put this video up there. At the end of this video, Phil Jackson, look at that guy behind the bench digging in his nose. Look at that. Can't put the little fella out there like that. He's like that digging in his nose, Green.
Okay, so he gets depicted. That kid gets depicted badly in the documentary also. But Jalen, let me add to what Jay Will just said. Okay, Scottie Pippen is one of the 50 greatest players of all time. He was absolutely integral to Michael Jordan winning any championships, much less all 6. The 5 things you took out of Last Dance about Scottie were the migraine, the fact that he barely played in the last game that Jordan won because he had a problem with his back, the 1.7 seconds, the fact that he missed the beginning of the last season because he chose to have the surgery at that time, and the foul shots that he missed at the end of that game against you in Indiana. They showed you all of that in great detail, and they showed you almost none of the brilliance and important role that Scottie Pippen was. To me, that's not a coincidence. That was Michael Jordan's vision of it, for better or for worse.
I agree with you. I'm a person, and again, I was in the league when this was happening. I remember thinking, man, that's messed up that Michael Jordan getting $35 million to play basketball and Scottie Pippen getting paid $3 million.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.